So you've got a big trip to Italy planned for this summer, and now you're panicking just a little about what you should pack and how the heck you're going to fit it all into one suitcase. Don't worry, I've got you covered. I travel to Italy many times in every season, and I've got this packing thing down to a science. I'm headed there again in just a couple of weeks, so in this video, I'm going to share my best packing tips, and I will show you what I'm actually going to take so that you can see that you can dress comfortably and stylishly without taking a huge suitcase and your entire wardrobe with you. So my first and maybe most important tip is to plan to pack in a carry-on suitcase plus a personal item. Why? Well, there's the most obvious reason, which is you don't risk the airline losing your bag. And it does happen sometimes. Last year, my husband had to check his bag and American Airlines lost it for 8 days. So that's one reason. So even beyond the possibility of the airline losing your bag, there are a bunch of other reasons why you don't want to have a huge suitcase when you're traveling around Italy. The first is the cobblestones. All the cities, especially in the historic centers, are full of cobblestones and uneven streets, and it is no fun to try to drag a big suitcase over all of that. Second of all, there's stairs everywhere. Even in hotels with elevators or Airbnbs, you're likely to encounter some stairs that you're going to have to carry your suitcase up, and they're often pretty steep and narrow. And if you're in Venice, well, forget about it. Every bridge has a ton of stairs, and you'll find yourself dragging that suitcase up over those bridges over and over again. Then there are the trains. If you're taking the train in Italy, you're going to have to hoist your bag from the platform up onto the train, and then when you get on the train, you're going to have to put it in the overhead baggage section. And finally, if you plan to be renting a car, you'll find that the trunks of the Italian cars, just like the cars themselves, are much smaller than the trunks of the cars in the United States, and you can't fit much in there. Enough said, but seeing is believing, so stick with me as I choose my clothing and pack my bag. My next tip is to create a little capsule wardrobe for your trip. So you want a small number of items in a limited color palette, mostly neutrals, and you want everything to go together. The tops and bottoms should all coordinate with each other so that you can create a lot of outfits with just a small number of items. Now, packing for Italy in the summer is a lot more straightforward than it is, say, for the fall or the spring, because in those shoulder seasons, the temperatures and the climate vary considerably. But in summer, it will be reliably hot. It'll be anywhere from hot to extremely hot, so you just can pack accordingly. There's also not likely to be much, if any, rain, so you probably don't even need to bring a raincoat. Maybe an umbrella just in case, though you can always buy it cheap when there. So your number one goal is to dress to stay as cool as possible, and what that means is you want lightweight fabrics, ideally in natural fabrics, and ideally kind of flowy things that don't stick to you. I'm not a dress person normally, but this is one time where I will take a couple of dresses because they just are much cooler to wear. So the first thing I do when I'm planning my capsule wardrobe is I get all the things that I think I'm going to take and I put them on this rack just so I can get a good view of all the different items. And in this case, I've chosen a limited color palette, mostly blue and cream/white and a little bit of olive green and a couple of pops of color. So that's my color palette. And what I do is I always sort of start with the bottoms, because then if I pick my pants and my skirts, I can make sure that all the tops I select are going to go with all of those bottoms, or most of those bottoms. I'm only taking 2 pairs of long pants because, of course, it's going to be hot. And I've got a pair of navy blue barrel leg pants from Athleta. And I've got a pair of very flowy wide leg linen pants from Quince. Then I've got one skirt and a pair of linen shorts. Now, so those are my bottoms. Then I've got a number of shirts. I think I've got like 7 tops. For a little color, I've got this one, which will go with everything. A blue linen top. And this blue and white striped top. A flowered top. A white linen shell or tank. Another white shirt from Quince. And then one of these gauze shirts. I love these gauze ones because they're sort of pre-wrinkled and they don't show the wrinkles, and they're very, very cool. So those are my tops. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that should do me for my 18-day trip. And then, as I said, I am going to bring a couple of dresses. I've got another one of these gauze dresses that I bought from Pact a couple of years ago. It's very flowy and cool. And then for a little pop of color, I've got this red and white dress. Now, I don't know whether I'm actually ever going to need a sweater because it might be brutally hot, but sometimes it's cool at night. So I've got a white cotton sweater and a tan linen jacket. So I'm going to take them. I may not need them, but if they fit in my suitcase, I might as well have them. So that's it for my wardrobe. But as you can see, all the tops and all the bottoms are going to go together. Because I've selected items that all mix and match and go together, except for the dresses, I actually can create over 25 different outfits. So that's even more than I need for my 18-day trip. So if I need to, I can skinny this back and take maybe one fewer shirt or whatever. Or if you have a smaller suitcase, you can go with fewer items and you're still going to be fine for 2 or 3 week trip. Now let's talk shoes. You do not need nor do you want to bring more than 3 pairs of shoes. And the most important thing is that at least one of them should be a pair of well worn in sneakers or walking shoes. I'm bringing these ones from New Balance, which are cute and can be worn with dresses, skirts, pants, whatever, but they're also super comfortable. You will be walking 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 steps in a day without even thinking about it. So you don't want to bring some cute new shoes that are going to give you blisters. Make sure they're well worn in. Also, don't bring any flip-flops except maybe to wear in the hotel or the pool. Don't bring any thin-soled sandals, those cute, delicate ones, because the cobblestones will kill your feet. If you do want to bring sandals, and you probably do because it's summer and it's hot, make sure that it's a sandal with a thick, comfortable footbed. For example, perhaps a pair of Birkenstocks. I've got these ones. They're not Birkenstock brand. They're Cushionaire, but they're like Birkenstocks, and they have a nice, comfy sole, and I've worn them before. Many steps, and they're always comfortable. I also have a similar pair, which are from Vionic. Super comfortable. I wore them all over Italy last summer, and I'm going to wear them again this summer. And all of these go with everything. I mean, I can wear any of these shoes with any of these outfits. And it goes without saying, don't bring any heels because, again, with the cobblestones, you risk breaking your ankle. I mean, even wedges can be a problem as you can kind of twist your ankle. So I say go with flats. My next tip, ladies, is to bring a light scarf. And here's why. It's summer. It's going to be very hot. So chances are you're going to be wearing tank tops, sleeveless tops, and those are not allowed in many churches. There are some strict rules in many churches in Italy. You can't have bare shoulders, bare midriff, bare knees. And so if you carry a very light scarf with you, you will be able to visit those churches and you won't get turned away. Here's a packing hack that I absolutely swear by, and that is the use of packing cubes. And why do I like them so much? Well, they keep your clothes organized. And this is particularly important when you're going to be going from place to place and you're packing and unpacking in different hotel rooms. It keeps everything from just getting all messed up. I put my bottoms in one packing cube and I put my tops in the other, and things like pajamas, I just fit them in wherever they go. But that way, when I want to find a certain top or a certain bottom, I just take out that cube, unzip it, and I find what I'm looking for, and I don't have to make a huge mess out of my suitcase. It's kind of like having dresser drawers in your suitcase. Now, there are two kinds of packing cubes. One is just the regular one that just has one zipper and you put the clothes in and zip it up. There's another kind, which is a compression packing cube, and it has a double set of zippers. And what happens is you put the clothes in and then you zip the second zipper and it squeezes all the air out. What that means is that you can fit more stuff in your suitcase. But what that also means is your suitcase is going to end up being heavier. And for those of us who are concerned about, well, carrying it, but also, airline restrictions about weights and so forth, that could be an issue. So I would suggest maybe not bothering with the compression cubes unless you really need them. I'm going to try it without and see how we go. So let's pack. I'm going to start with the packing cubes, and I'm going to start with my tops. I'm going to put them all in one cube. Now let's see if it all fits in my suitcase. The moment of truth. So this is my toiletries and cosmetic bag, and it's pretty. It's not my liquids. I have that in a separate thing, but this is a nifty one because it has a hanger. And in most bathrooms in European hotels, there won't be any counter space or not much counter space. So what's great about this is it hangs up, and then you've got all the stuff accessible and visible to you, and then it just zips up like this, and you can. And I'll just point out that I've got my liquids bag, which I did not put in my suitcase. I'm going to put that in my personal item for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's just a lot easier when you go through TSA to be able to get it out of my backpack. The other thing is it has my medication in it as well. And you always want to carry your medications with you in your personal item. Never put them in a checked bag. And I would say don't even put them in your carry-on bag, because there might be an instance where they make you check the bag even though you didn't intend it to be checked. So you want to carry your medication with you at all times, is my point. People often ask me what sort of a suitcase I use, and I'm a big fan and have used for years the Away Bigger Carry-On is what it's called. And it's 23 inches high, including the wheels, 15 inches wide and 8 inches deep. That's no problem for most US airlines, but some of the European airlines, especially the smaller ones, have much tighter size and weight restrictions. I just weighed my suitcase and it weighed 9 kilos or 20 pounds, which also might be too heavy for some of those smaller airlines, but again, not a problem for the US airlines. Now I'll show you what I put in my personal item. Now a lot of people bring tote bags as their personal item, which is great, but I happen to like taking a backpack because I like to be hands-free. So a couple of, like last year, I got this Osprey Daylight bag, and it's the perfect size for me because it's not too big, although it does expand if I need more space. And it has a laptop sleeve, which I need. So the first thing I'm going to do is pack my laptop. The second thing I'm going to do is pack this change of clothes. I've got a couple pairs of underwear, a t-shirt, and some socks. In the unlikely event that somehow my suitcase goes astray, I will have a backup item of clothing, and I will stick this all the way down in the bottom of my backpack because I probably am not going to need it. The next thing is I've got my liquids bag with my medications, and as I mentioned before, always keep your medications with you. I've got noise canceling headphones, which I think are a game changer. If you want to watch a movie or TV shows while you're on the plane, this is really the only thing that will cut the airplane engine noise so that you can actually hear what you're watching. And then I got my tech bag, and I'll show you what I have in here. So it's important to bring an adapter for the Italian plugs, and ideally one that has multiple ports in it so that you can plug your different devices in and charge them overnight. I also have this really cool little item, which is a charging station that will charge your Apple Watch, your AirPods, and your iPhone all in one place, and then it folds up like this. Important to bring a power bank because you will use up your battery as you're going around filming and using GPS and Google Translate and all the rest. And the one other thing I would say is, this is not long enough, and I will get a longer one, but bring a long cord for your charging, because in Italy, as in many places in Europe, the plugs are few and far between, and they're never where you want them. They're never by the bed, they're somewhere else in the room. And so you need a long cord in order to be able to use your devices while you're charging them. So that's that. Put that right in there. I always bring some wet wipes because, just in case. I bring one of these fold-up shopping bags. When you go to the grocery store and many other stores in Europe, they won't give you a bag to put your stuff in. You need to bring your own or buy one from them. So I always take this little fold-up bag. And I think that is it for my carry-on or my personal item. Now I'll show you what I got in my purse. Let's talk purses. This is important, ladies. You definitely want to carry a crossbody purse, and you want one that has a zipper over the main compartment. This one actually has 2 zippered compartments. It's a leather purse from Quince, and I love it, and it's the perfect size for travel. The reason you want to have a zipper and a crossbody is to avoid getting pickpocketed. So you're going to carry it like this. And when you're in a crowded space, you're going to keep your hand, you're going to close the zipper and keep your hand over the zipper so that nobody can get in there. So in here, I have, of course, first and foremost, my passport. You will need this, just a piece of advice, don't leave this in your hotel room. A lot of people will put it in the hotel safe or leave it in the hotel room because they're afraid of being pickpocketed. But you need to carry this. This is your official identification, and you can be stopped by the police and get fined if you don't have it. And also, a lot of times when you go to use your ticket at a site like the Colosseum or the Vatican, they're going to ask you to see your ID. We're going to be renting a car, so I've got my international driving permit. All that is basically is a translation of your state driver's license, and it has your picture on it. You can get these easily for 20 bucks at a AAA, either online or you can go to one of their stores. You may not be asked for this at the rental car counter, but believe me, it's illegal not to have it. And if you get stopped by the cops for any reason and you don't have this, you can in for a big fine. So make sure that you have this if you're going to rent a car. I don't ever carry my big wallet from home because I don't want to drag all the stuff that's in it. Instead, I've got this kind of nifty little item. It's got a bunch of zippers on it, and I can keep my euro in one compartment. I take 2 credit cards and a cash machine card, nothing else, and then I have another compartment for the coins, and so I'm all set to go. I have my reading glasses, my sunglasses. I always bring some tissues, not only to blow my nose, but in the event that you don't find toilet paper when you go to the ladies' room, you'll want this. I got a pen. Bring Band-Aids. As I said, you're going to be doing a lot of walking, and just in case you get blisters, you're going to want to have some Band-Aids with you. And then I have a nifty, I've got my phone. Oops. And I've got another tiny little power bank that's actually magnetic, sticks to the back of the phone, and it has its own little thing to put in the phone to charge it, and it'll charge your phone one time. So when you're out and about, it's a good one to have. And then I have just a little pouch that has Advil, lip balm, stuff like that. And that's what's in my purse. If you want more packing tips, watch this video next. Ciao for now.